And we're live. This is an alternate time than I normally stream at. This is in remembrance of the hexologist having streamed every day at the same time or near the same time for a couple hundred days. I heard that he was taking a break from YouTube, and so I wanted to stream at this time just to say hey to everybody who watches at this time. Normally I do my show in the evenings, and I think that'll continue, but I think I'll be trying some new things and mixing things up. Definitely still here and ready to talk about all the topics we talk about here. So with that being said, hit the like and subscribe button. Share this out to other people who you think might want to watch a stream at this time. And here's the intro. Hex Therapy Live. Welcome.
It's from Maddie ALLin of HexTherapy.live. I like Maddie. Maddie tries to make the world a healthier place. He's a mental health professional. He's done research. Big videos on sudden wealth syndrome. There's nothing that a human being can do better than try and heal his fellow man. Maddie ALLin's got that covered. He does emotional, feel-good, mind management, emotion stuff like as his gig because he's a therapist. That's what he does for a living. Like he helps heal people.
All right, so who do we have here in the chat? What kind of news do we have to go over today? This will be a Hex Therapy Live and Hex News stream in I don't want to say remembrance of hexologists, in honor of hexologists. You know, I actually, when Hexo finished his first streak of hundreds of days streaming in a row in Hex, I made a little compilation video that I think is still on YouTube there. So you can always check that out here on my channel. I'm sure it would be under hexologist, but he's a great guy. Hector the Protector, MT Coiner, Crypto Gammy, good to see y'all. Yeah, I'm still recovering from this terrible car accident. Still have 2 broken clavicles, but you know, being on YouTube is it's easier than it looks. And here I am to give you guys an update on the news and say hello to you at this afternoon time. So let me share my screen here and see what we've got. You can always ask questions in the chat. Tell me how much you love hexologists, how much you love hex streamers. And if you're rich, if you're a whale, you can donate to my donation address. We're going through some SEC inquiries as a community. And so it's really important for people who have big bags to give to those causes. My only address is maddie.eth, and we've raised about 17,000 on the way to 50,000 to have, have support for myself and for this cause. It's, it's a big deal when the SEC starts, inquiring into things, even when we as a community, we're seeing everything in crypto fall around us. The price of Hex is not 99% down. Like most of the FTX investments that were, pretty much all vaporware in a sense. They were having teams working without having the capital to back them up. They were Alameda Research Group under Sam Beckman-Fried. What were they doing for the past year and a half? They were paying off Democrats with money that they sent to Ukraine. This is rumored in the mainstream news that these things are happening, as was pointed out in the long form discussion we had on Tuesday night, which is that Game Theory Gang was probably one of the best that we've had ever. And so definitely a stream that you should check out there. The last stream that I did on Tuesday night, especially the second half of it, when Future Us was on there. We had Toby One Hexobi, we had Hex Monkey, we had Crispy Man, and just all the discussions that we were having with everybody on screen and in the chat were definitely fire. So check that out. but this story continues to unfold. We saw 3 live streams from Richard Hart. Well, there were 3 videos that came out yesterday on Richard Hart. I put them all in my Telegram group, which is pinned here in the live stream chat. It's just t.me/smartvaultme. You can go there and you can see the links to K4K's YouTube where he uploaded. So there was Richard dropped in for I think about 30 minutes on one Twitter Spaces and then about 50 minutes on another. And one of them was being hosted by Hexicans. The other one was being hosted by this big group, Mario Narfwal or whatever his last name is. Mario, as he's known on crypto Twitter, has been doing almost continuous Twitter live streams as a citizen journalist and as like a kind of like an NFT shill talk show that's been really popular. Richard Hart pretty much popularized it by going on there maybe 6 or 8 times over the summer. But Richard popped on there, and so you can see that on K4K's channel. And then there was an interview that just came out on a YouTube channel that looks like it was pretty new. I mean, it might have been under a couple thousand subscribers or something. And it just looked like an interview that Richard had done whenever he was visiting the United States 2 to 3 months ago when he was in Miami. And so that was a fresh interview. And I know a lot of people, they like to see all the content that Richard puts out. So those are things that people should definitely check out by going to t.me/smartvaultme. And I'm hanging in there. Yeah. Love the commitment, Maddie, both from the rec and the wrecked SEC. That's right. SEC can't touch Richards. They want to mess with the community. They're weaponized. Ralph Afghanistan. I don't really know. I mean, we will. It's just it seems like overreach to me. But that's what the lawyers and everybody's for, and all in all, the SEC, like their job is important to protect people from bad investments or things that are illegal. And so while I don't believe that Hex or anything we're doing here with free speech on YouTube and education, I don't think those worlds should overlap at all. And, but that's why we need the community support to pitch in to the donation address and to make sure that the lawyers can get that all settled. If you're a whale or a shark or a dolphin, like please consider donating to Maddie.eth. Trying to get, so the 12,000 got taken out today for lawyers' fees, and but the total amount that's gone in was 17, and we're trying to get up to 50 at least. That would help me sleep better at night. So I may have seen a tweet from Funding Jim, and I love Funding Jim. I trust him a lot. I just personally think that legal matters should be handled individually. And that's what Richard's tweet said after he tweeted support for my donation address, and then sent another tweet saying that everybody should set up their own. And so because Richard is usually right about lots of things, that's why I think a lot of people would listen to him. And for me, I'm listening to myself and lots of people who I think are supporting, and they're emotionally for all of the streamers that are caught up in this. So thank you all for being there. Even if you can't send any money, it's still helpful for you all to be supportive, especially to also not be hurtful. That's also good. So I have things to share. Okay, so the Hex, I'm covering the Hex news just today. It's not necessarily going to be like an everyday thing, but I'm just kind of wanted to let the community know we're all, still here, still covering, broadcasting what I care and believe about. You know, what I believe in is it matters to me. And so since I'm not doing anything wrong, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. So there was an interesting debate on those Twitter Spaces that I told you guys about, where somebody, I think it was in the Hex community one, that there was a hater, somebody who was challenging, you know, the fact that Hex is completely legitimate, that it's not a scam, like that it's not a Ponzi, blah, blah, blah. And so like, these are things that the community hears often, and definitely understands, like, where some people, they're Bitcoiners and they don't want to believe in anything else. And so they don't use their critical thinking, and they don't research. They don't look into like what an actual definition is of something. For example, like a pyramid scheme is where you have multiple levels, and like that doesn't apply to DeFi at all, which includes Hex. Well, I shouldn't say all DeFi, but true DeFi, like Hex, is, you know, that's the opposite of having a middleman. You don't even have a middleman for the exchange, because you can do it through Uniswap on a decentralized exchange. And so, and then, yeah, I mean, there was FUD, you could say. There was uncertainty amongst the naysayers about whether Hex has proper disclaimers. And so Richard said, in this debate that they were having, this impromptu debate on Twitter Spaces, Richard said, it's on the website. It's always been on the website. Like, or I'm paraphrasing what he said, but he, you know, he defended the fact that there were disclaimers. He also thought it was funny that the guy said that it was misleading to investors that there was some like huge percent advertised in London on the sides of buses. And that was something that I think I remember seeing in the Economist ad, maybe it was like next to the Economist ad, but it was, you can go to hex.com and you can see all these examples, I think. And, but anyway, so people were saying like, oh, you shouldn't have advertised 8,000% returns on the side of a bus all the way back then. And the funny thing that Richard pointed out is like, Hex did more than 8,000% since that bus ad ran and like went away. Like, still did 8,000%, way more than that actually, because it did 1,000,000% total, and that was back in the early days when it hadn't gone up as much as it. You know, I think it had gone up 100x at that point, and then it went up 100. It ended up peaking 100x higher than that or something, and so. That's yeah, that's like 10,000. It went up 10,000% after that, is what the idea was. But then Hexologist here posted that in the Wayback Machine that there actually was disclaimers on hex.win, and there on hex.com there are now, but he was proving even back then that it had disclaimers. And so here's like a Twitter thread that shows like the latest one. And I guess it was Maddie Greenspan, which I thought that was an economist that maybe worked for Planet Money or was cited by Planet Money a lot. So I think I had run across that person before, but it might just be a common last name. I'm not sure. Maddie, you would think I would remember because of the spelling of Maddie is the same as mine. Maybe I just followed this person because they spell their name M-A-T-I. Maybe, but they're the one who is wrong. They were the naysayer in this case. Yeah, economist, blockchain research, 48K followers, Maddie Greenspan, who was challenging Richard and getting everything wrong, and really giving a great example of how weak the arguments are against Hex. Still, after 3 years. It's because the people who are thinking rationally and who haven't already made up their mind, they're the ones who are joining the community now. We hear this on Twitter Spaces, even in the bigger ones where there's tens of thousands of listeners, at least, listening to the FTX blow up coverage, and times when Richard Hart comes on. Now it's been at least twice that he went on the Mario crypto podcast, the Twitter Spaces, and was praised for telling people to get their money off of centralized exchanges. And the whole reason that crypto was invented was to get your money off of centralized exchanges. And here's an example, another example, the biggest example in history, I would say, of $8 billion, $8 to $10 billion being lost by Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX and Alameda Research, who all were running a scam that the SEC apparently didn't investigate. And so it's really important times, I think, in cryptocurrency when the price is down so much and there's so many people still paying attention to this stream, to Hex streams. We're getting numbers that we would even get in a bull market still. Maybe on the lower side of the bull market, but I've been doing this for 103 weeks, and this Thursday is not really that different from any other Thursday, which tells us a lot, because normally you would think that the price, well, in crypto history, it was always the price that kept people engaged. And in Hex, it's something else now, isn't it? That's pretty cool. That's unique. That's novel. That's us learning about this crypto experiment that nobody says is perfect. And, Richard was saying yesterday in one of his streams that I listened to, there's probably about over a couple hours of content, which I'll probably re-listen to. And yeah, I mean, Richard said something about you can't program out the bubble behavior of people. And I would argue that only applies to looking at Hex in dollar terms. I would actually argue with Richard. I would say that, I would point that really doesn't apply to T-shares. And that's the whole point of Hex. That's why Hex is so great, is because you can time lock your money, you can send money to your future self, and that takes you out of the gambling game. The part that you time locked, it takes you out of the trading game, which tons and tons of industry research has shown, not academic research, even industry research with real numbers has shown that trading causes the majority of people to lose money, not just the slight majority, a vast majority of people lose money by trading. So it really, so I will now call on the clip that I don't play that often, but it's Richard saying that I do a good job of talking about time locking.
A lot of people do a better job promoting Hex and understanding it than I do, which is crazy because I invented it and pretty good at marketing things and selling things. So I think Maddie ALLin does a better job talking about giving yourself a gift in the future, like teleporting it through time using the time locking.
The only reason I'm calling on that clip is because of what Richard said yesterday, saying that you can't program out the bubble behavior. Guess what? The people complaining probably to the SEC, the people filing petty lawsuits, the people clamoring on Twitter saying that Hex is a scam, we've already separated out the ones that don't want to believe in Hex, don't have anything to do with Hex other than they see that it's popular and performing better at a social level than any other crypto in the bear market. But the people who care about price, that have, that they had bought Hex, they didn't use it for time locking. And so they are traders. So the people who are trading, we know people who trade often lose, even if you program in awesome price performance, which is only really measured in hex terms. But yeah, I mean, you can be so innovative to a market that, you know, like what Richard said about the price being able to do a 10,000x in 2.5 years came true. In 656 days. And there was so much liquidity. I mean, this wasn't really a spike up. I believe from watching the market at that time that there were lots of limit orders set, like to sell hex at 10,000x from 0.00005 of a dollar. That is what the lowest price of hex was on day 33. But on day 656, it jumped all the way up to, you know, 55 cents. So that's a 10,000x. And it's not that like nobody could buy hex on day 33. Like Johnny Chaos, who was on the show on Tuesday, like he was buying and selling hex at 1 Satoshi. So it's not like nobody could even get in at that point. It's not like it was a pre-mine or, you know, any other. There are tons of ways to spoof that data. And yet you have a community here who can all tell you we had our finger over the buy button on all those times. And some people clicked. So it wasn't an inside job. It was a really, 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 really fair launch that you wouldn't normally see. I mean, to the point of like the origin address protecting the price from people trying to arbitrage the mechanism that was spreading out the distribution over a whole year. And so, you know, all the FUD that was generated at the beginning of Hex when it launched, when I was there, not an expert on Hex yet, but I was starting to pay attention. Tone Vase and his lawyers, you know, doing a 4-hour stream the day Hex launched with Richard, that was really telling of how early DeFi was, that Hex was invented around the same time that Uniswap was invented. So the whole ability to do a decentralized swap started around the same time Hex started. And that is in the top 3 inventions of all time in crypto. Next to Bitcoin and Ethereum, then you have Uniswap and Hex and soon Pulse Chain. Those are the top 5 inventions in crypto. And so it's no wonder that Bitcoiners were so far behind at that point that they didn't even like Ethereum. And Ethereum went on to, because Hex launched at the very bottom of the Bitcoin bear market, 2019 in December. So we're coming up on the 3rd year here in a couple of weeks. You know, so that was really good timing. And Hex had been in development for 2 years and had specifically designed itself to not be a security from the start of producing the code, the 3,000 lines of code, a little bit less than that. But I mean, it's never been a security. It's never been close to being a security. And, you know, so that's been really well known since it launched in 2019. But at the end of the day, the people crying about the price are the people who are not really using Hex as it was designed, I would say, to address the bubbly behavior of people. And so while Hex, the token that can be traded, was not designed to program out bubbly behavior, I believe that what emerged from the invention of Hex and took the community and the founder and others a good 6 months to figure out was that if you took your Hex and you time locked it in a ladder formation, that really does program out the bubbly behavior that that is part of the problem. And then you're just left with the price going up being the problem for the price. Because people who are getting their stakes out now are in such wild profit still, with the price being down 99% from the most bubbly people would pay for it. But if those bubbly people who bought the top, if they time locked it, as long as the people who are the people who are selling their interest, which is just like a Bitcoin miner selling their rewards for mining. These are staking rewards that people can cash out. People can also cash out the value of their miner, which is the hex that they put in. But it's like that's the perfect example, I think, that we can go back to, is that hex is designed like buying the hex is buying the Bitcoin miner. It's like buying the hardware, and then staking it is the extra cost, just like the cost of electricity. In Bitcoin, in hex, you have the cost of time. And so you're time locking and you're giving up the right to sell, whether the price goes up really high or whether it goes down really low, or does all of the, all of those things. And that's really where it comes back to, you are programming out the ups and downs, because you're literally proving on the blockchain that this person cannot sell this coin no matter its USD price movement. So that, just in definition, is programming out the bubbly behavior in people who opt in. It is an opt-in thing, and I think it needs to be an opt-in thing personally. I think because I have designed a time locking thing and am designing it in a way that will be way overly, I would say, like, within the law, that there are design decisions that I think are super important for opting in. And then in our case, you're going to be able to time lock Pulse Chain and Pulse X with Time Pays Me. And you can follow on Twitter, Time Pays Me, and you can see what the plan, some of the plans are. But that code is in production. And I think that this is such an important point for Hex Therapy. Is like, how do you program out the bubbly behavior in people? It's like, you do it by time locking, sending money to your future self. I'm going to play this music. And you can complain or say whether you like it or say no. But this music always puts me in a good mood. Oh, look at all these great comments. Fun. Oh, these are really good comments. I'm going back. All right, Maddie, greetings. D, what's going on with you? Tex Hex 5555. Thanks for all you do for the community. My pleasure. Glad your recovery's going well. Good to see you up and about, Maddie. May you continue your speedy recovery. Thank you. Hope you're doing okay. Thank you. Pour some out for Hexa, the Red Bull that I'm drinking here. I will always pour one for Hexa, even though he's not dead. It will be nice when the SEC learns how the T-share works. Great point, Jerry. Hex Monkey, glad you're still here, Maddie. But indeed, you're not doing anything wrong, and it shows. Thanks. Marcavelli. Thou wowest DCA this month. 'Tis be regarded as a god. That sounds like poetry, my friend. Hex Monkey, glad to see you're still here, Maddie, because that comment went twice. Hex Monkey. Hex is the only crypto where proper disclaimers are given over and over on Hex website and literally in every stream RH ever did. Yeah, in my show notes, it says lots of things. Like, this is not investment advice or therapy advice. It's free speech and education. Rags had an interesting episode about how a lawyer, quote unquote, would sue someone, request and receive inside info about a crypto organization, and use his credibility for personal gain. Huh. Okay. Well, yeah, there's all kinds of games that people play. I think we'll be all right. Or we will learn a great deal. How about that? Hex Monkey, elect a communist dementia patient, get the world you deserve. Okay, that I usually don't go that much into politics, but there I was reading the comment. All right, MT Coiner. I really ultimately see this as a non-issue. You typed bone issue, but I'm gonna go with non-issue long term. The SEC will be proven wrong, and then we can sue the hell out of them for damages. I don't know about that. I think we should just let them go after FTX and everybody else that is doing something wrong. If the government has banned Hexo, what are your thoughts about the movie? Can they ban a movie from Netflix? I do no. No, they can't. That's my understanding of the Constitution. I think the Highest of Stakes documentary is going to rock. I think that it's going to be seen by millions of people, and that people are going to care about it because I think it'll be that good. I mean, these guys got 5 Emmys and they want the next award. It's a new category. So a documentary gets a different award. I think that there are lots of awards that they could get that they don't have, and these guys are so good. They're at that level. Yeah. Yeah, they're going for all the awards here, and I think they've said that publicly. Is it true that the U.S. government is now going after all crypto cult leaders and their followers to make an example out of them? Is XRP really a security now? Wow. Yeah, I mean, you'd imagine that the SEC would just do as much as they could until a court, like a case got taken to the Supreme Court, probably. That's my guess. Is like, if they have a lot of stuff to clean up, they're going to be really busy. I mean, look at the crypto space. It's terrible. People have referral links for leveraged exchanges, for taking loans. Companies are taking loans with your money. They're putting things in the disclaimer that people don't even understand. It's a mess. Crypto is a freaking mess. Everything you invest in DeFi is like a rug, and by everything I mean like 90% or something, depending on which report you read. I mean, it's a wild west, but I think Hex is the best example of how a crypto cannot be a security, because it was complete when it launched. It was not a promise coin. There's no common pool. There's no referral system. There's no company. There's no managerial effort. There's no admin key. There's tons of front ends that have been built. Like, I built a front end for free that doesn't take a fee. Like, can we put that on record? That would be cool, because that's how decentralized Hex is. Nobody gets paid to do YouTube live streams that I know of. I'd be pissed. I mean, I would probably investigate me if I saw somebody doing so much work for free. That's all I'm saying. there's a lot of sacrifice going on here. There's a lot of people believing in something that's very unusual, and that's why there's a, in my opinion, a blockbuster, the first crypto blockbuster documentary. Like, do you think you could have that without conflict or without two sides to the story? Hex is a big deal. People are finally realizing that. So we're all over here like, yeah, we already knew some people knew for 5 years, because Hex was developed for 2 years, and then it's going on its 3rd birthday here on December 3rd. See, and tomorrow's the anniversary of the big payday. Damn. We should stream. Not streaming daily. I'm just saying tomorrow is November 18th. It's the anniversary of the big payday, I believe. Nobody banned Hexo. Yeah, that's nonsense. Yeah, he's just voluntarily deciding to play it safe while he goes through his legal process. That's fine. Yeah, SBF is just chilling in the Bahamas. That's weird. If somebody else stole $8 to $10 billion, you'd think that they would lock them up or something. Instead of them like being seen on Twitter, like buying groceries by himself, like that. This story is so weird, which is why I'm so glad that there are real people covering it on Twitter, with like Elon Musk stopping in on one of Mario's streams, probably a week ago now or something. But like this story, and they had a sex cult like in the exchange headquarters, which was also where they lived in the Bahamas. It's like, oh my gosh. I mean, there's a lot of funny stuff on Twitter about that. Look, when somebody streams for a couple 100 days, you gotta give them a break every once in a while. Even if they said that they would do it, that's not healthy. I don't think it is healthy for everybody all the time. And what is healthy is to take a break if you want to. So nobody should ever talk smack about Hexo, please. Please. Yeah, stop lying about community members. That's a good idea. I understand it. Everybody's depressed. Everybody hates it. We're in a bear market. Post-chain isn't out yet. There's uncertainty in the world. We don't know when the Fed's going to turn back on the money printer. The SEC is like talking to people in Hex instead of like arresting Sam Bankman-Fried. I understand. I understand I understand the mood. I am trying to change the mood, because look at me. Here I am streaming at this hour just to say, hopefully my actions speak louder than my words. How about that? And, I think the best time to stream is 4 o'clock. So I might change my streams to 4 o'clock to be like my normal, like whenever I stream. I haven't decided yet. Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. Central is like really kind of sacred. So I might keep that the same. I haven't decided yet. I am not streaming every day, but if I stream, I might stream at different times until I decide what time I like the best. Joe, another factor in legal precedent, are all streamers being treated equally? All communities. Is there an unfair isolation of one coin, one community over others due to bias? Yeah. Great question. I vote 1,000 hexagons, says MT Coiner. I vote 1,000 hexagons show up to Hexo's court date so they understand what this is. I don't think it works like that. I love your enthusiasm. I think people donating to Hexo's donation address, I saw his is getting funded heavily, which is great. I think his should be 50,000. I think mine should be 50,000. And if people don't have money, if people didn't get rich from Hex, then don't worry about it. That's my opinion. I don't want to piss everybody off by asking, but I have to ask, you know? It's been way against Hex from the beginning. All right. Yep. Yeah, because we don't promote centralized exchanges. Think about how profitable it is for people to do things opposite of what Richard says. Keep your money on an exchange. Somebody just lost $8 to $10 billion this week from that. That's really profitable. It's hard to get more profitable than that. Being a scam. That's like infinity % gain for Sam Bankman-Fried. So FTX should have, if they were being honest in their advertising, like Hex does, FTX would have said, deposit your crypto here so that we can have infinity % gains and you can have 0% gains plus negative 100% of your principal gains. That would have been an honest advertisement. And as far as I have seen, all the Hex advertisements have been honest to a unreasonable point. Or a reasonable point, depending on how you want to look at it. Somebody should meme that FTX advertisement in truth is negative 100% return. And Hex being honest is 8,000% return. All right. The law, unfortunately, I don't know. Sometimes the tyrants win. Sometimes, the people win a lot too, actually, if you look at history. Speaking of Johnny C, what happened to him or his Twitter? Same SEC promise Hexo ? Johnny Chaos has always been thinking about taking a break because he deals with so many trolls. And that's part of the reason why he's loved, other than the fact that he's a personality that is loved. And he also has said publicly that he didn't want to be this popular. He didn't want to have so many followers. And so as me, like the retired mental health therapist, I will back the dude up. I have been on Twitter. I've tried to post like wherever I see people spreading, I don't know, I want to call it Johnny FUD or whatever. It's like, yo, if we want Johnny back, then we need him to take care of himself. And so if he needs to take a break, then try not to make a big deal out of it. I know he will be missed, maybe sending positive messages into the ether, as long as you don't pay too high of a transaction fee that he'll hear it. He's still out there. He was on my show on Tuesday and I reached out to him after he deleted his Twitter, and he said he's okay. He's great, actually. And you shouldn't expect future work from others anyway. So you should just be happily delighted when he comes back, if he does. But there's no expectation of the education of others. You know, like it's of like, I'm not even gonna say influencer. There's no expectation of broadcasters or leaders or anything. So leadership is unpaid and sometimes very underappreciated. Imagine that. This is the last crypto forever. Mark Moss. What crypto? I met that dude at the Bitcoin conference. I had brunch with him and that old Playboy model, Jessica Vaughn, and Ross Ulbricht's mother was there, and Timothy Benjamin. What a fun group to have brunch with in Miami. Part 2. The story cannot be told without this new chapter of SEC overreach. Yeah, you want me to text him and tell him that? I will. Thanks, Joe. Now, Joe, I can say that the people are calling for it. People are calling for it. Patrick, get out here. Get out here and document my struggle. Or Hexo or anybody. I think all this goes away once we have a chance to present our side to the SEC and the court. Facts are facts. Hexicans were born and bred from the truth engine. We are going to shred. MT Coiner. Yeah. I mean, I don't know of any other community where, like for our Hex conference last year that I hosted online, we had 80 people who are not in the business of social media and have their own YouTube channels and have this as a big deal to them. Because it's organic and genuine. So Hexo already got more than 10. I am basing 50 off of how many hours of my lawyer's time I have, and it's less than $1,000 an hour, but it's more than 500. A lot more than 500. So I am doing this as a public service. I'm doing this because I enjoy it. And so I think that based on money that was raised, like $500,000 for NASCAR, like my bank account got closed. So this is serious. And the Hexo is not streaming anymore. And he was going to stream for 555 days. So I think that Hexo should be 50. I think mine should be 50, and no offense taken. It's awesome, caring and loving. It's awesome how caring and loving this Hex community is, for sure. What happened? Something missed. What happened to Hexo? Hexo is just going to not stream anymore. He said he got an SEC letter. What happens to the community if the ETH 2.0, if ETH 2.0 is viewed as a security by the SEC? I can't predict the future of crypto Bigfoot, but I guess we'll find out if that happens. But it sounds like that isn't like being discussed currently. I don't know. That ETH 2.0 is the only crypto that's actually, it's the only mainstream crypto on exchanges that is figuring out how to better itself from a programming and a game theory point of view. Like Bitcoin is just staying the same. So out of the top 2 cryptos by market cap and by volume that are traded, I think that ETH is probably pretty safe, if anything is, which doesn't tell you much. But I don't think the SEC, so MT Coiner, I don't think the SEC will actually be going after FTX guys anytime soon. SEC and FTX are part of the same insider group. I think they're attacking other cryptos to take the heat off of FTX. We'll see. Hex enthusiast, you are a good dude, Maddie. Thank you. some people are saying that SEC is implicated in the FTX debacle. That is a total rumor / meme, and I haven't seen any evidence other than some people know each other or went to the same college or something. So that's not. So let's wait and see on that. Next, the SEC subpoena. It will subpoena you for shilling a cardboard box in a bear market. Yeah, I know, right, Ivan? Yeah, that'd be weird. Somebody says the music is perfect. Cool. That's 1 in favor of the music, 0 against. You might get 3x attendance at the next conference. I hope so. It's gonna be online. Hexologist decided to stop streaming because he got a inquiry from the SEC. Go watch his last stream. So his last stream was taken down and then put back up due to he was playing fun music. And having a lemon war, which I missed, and I am really sad that I missed the lemon war because we used to do that on DLive like a year and a half ago. Benny, it's no different than a cop approaching you on the street and asking you to give free information which only hurts you. It offers no upside for you, only downside. Benny, if it were me, I would do what is within my rights to ignore. I don't know. I think the SEC deserves dignity. But you're right about not incriminating yourself. I don't think that ignoring these things is what's right for me, but that's up to my lawyer too. MC Coiner, you don't have a sex cult in your exchange headquarters in the Bahamas? I thought everyone did that. That's funny. Throwing in some humor. I like it. Are we being targeted unfairly? We are, but we don't need the Fed to turn the money printer on for Hex to appreciate. There are tens of millions on the sidelines. True. Yeah, there's a lot of stables coins that are still deciding what they're going to do with themselves. Hexo is my boy. I'm here in honor of him. Hope your recovery is going well. Yo, respect. Me too. I watched his show every day. Even I think I have 1 or 2 to catch up with, even though I was in a horrible car accident. So it's like I'm a devoted Hexo watcher. I don't always watch it when it's live. I try to. But now there's a lot of Hex streamers that you can find that I will be featuring everybody on the Hex conference, I hope. And so that's exciting to look forward to. That's happening in less than 2 months. We have to look at the positive. Most of us have bigger bags because of the bear market and the delay in pulse chain. Glass is always half full. They're very, very true. Pacific Northwest Hex. Marco, the Hexkin, much love, Maddie. Hey, appreciate you. Focus on your health above all else. I am doing my best. I love how my lighting changed. It's much better now that there's not a bright sun shining down. I think there's some clouds here. Sandy be the dude. One day, okay. We allow the SEC will investigate your happiness from eating a good steak. I hope not. Yeah, people are really down, right? I set some stupid low limit orders. I'm gonna let these guys eat the slippage first. There you go. Benny, good job. What exchange are you using, Benny? Are you using which, well, it's not an exchange. Which site are you using? Matcha.xyz or metric.exchange? Johnny C got tired of getting so much crap just trying to help people. Yeah, for sure. Soon the world will be better, says Daniel. This decentralized things will soon give us fruits. That's right. That's right. It's an important technology. I hope that time pays me is also able to improve the crypto landscape. The product I'm developing, code is in production, is going to allow people to undo hacks in certain situations. And I think that's going to give people a lot of peace of mind. I believe in it so much, the process I've designed, that once we go live on Pulse Chain, I will put $10,000 worth of crypto into a smart vault, and I will read off the seed phrase, and then I will be able to recover it even though anybody can know the seed phrase. It's a cool trick. I'm happy to explain it as the time gets closer. So the world soon will be better. That's right, Daniel. And in concrete ways, for sure. Based on your view, are sending the subpoenas to everyone who talks about Hex on Twitter or the streamers on YouTube? I have heard rumors of like 5 or something, and it's not all people with YouTube channels. It's not all people on Twitter or YouTube. It seems like people on social somewhere, but not even the main people, really. So that's weird. Which I guess makes it seem a little bit less serious, hopefully, because if they're asking regular people, then that's interesting. So much gossip and hearsay about people's private business, really childish, immature behavior. Did I block the right people and I just didn't get any of that this time? Cool. Wow. Twitter experience solved. I do not know what you're talking about, and I think I'm okay with that. People can tell me. I would much rather find out this way if there's drama that I don't know about. Even if he does get ignored, you guys, I have 3 more minutes. After a break, take the break. Yeah, exactly. Take the break. Can sentiment get much lower? Is this the ultimate bottom signal? I don't know. I'm DCAing. I think we're not at max pain in the whole market. Not financial advice. Benny Blanco, Giant Chaos is the man and always will be. Haters will always hate, and that's a fact of life. Haters are consumed by jealousy, which is also a fact of life. It's important to tune them out mentally and say positive things. That's right. Thanks for answering. Now people will stop nagging about that. There we go. Maddie, you're doing a public service. All you're doing is giving the public a chance to show their support for what you're doing and have done. Ignore the trolls. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Really do. I don't know, 5 or 7 is my guess, but it's a blind guess because I don't know. What could be the worst outcome? I don't know. You know, Trevon promoted BitConnect and he was a high up promoter and he's still streaming about crypto on YouTube. So. Transparency is always appreciated. Wishing your situation resolves without issue. Thank you. They have to make Pokemon cards and basketball cards as security. That's right. Wishing you good health. Thank you. Buying opportunities. Crypto Law Twitter handle shows SEC's glory. Gary Gensler, I assume, schedule back in March 2022, where they met with FTX General Counsel and obtained the Freedom of Information Act. Interesting. Go Crypto Law. Let's get to the bottom of it. SEC is throwing out nets. Usually they catch helpless plebs and furus. This time they got a full net of highly intelligent and deeply pocketed hexagons. I hope so. So stay positive out there, people. Take care of yourselves. Donate to Maddie.eth if you got rich from Hex or anything. It's a donation address for my SEC expenses and anything else that I choose to use donation funds for. We're trying to get to $50,000 and we are about 17 last I checked. 12 has been taken out so far. So thanks everybody for being here. You guys rock. Hit the like and subscribe button. Share this out. Let people know that Not all who wander are lost, and to stake wisely, my friends. Let me see here. I'm gonna play the outro. Do I have a different outro to play? Problem is copyright strikes. That is the problem. Most all the music I've used has subsequently become copyrighted. All right, see you next time, everybody. Stay wisely, my friends, and peace out.
It's from ALLin of HexTherapy.live. I like Maddie. Maddie tries to make the world a healthier place. He's a mental health professional. He's done research, big videos on sudden wealth syndrome. There's nothing that a human being can do better than try and heal his fellow man. Maddie Allen's got that covered. He does emotional, feel-good, mind management, emotion stuff, like, as his gig, because he's a therapist. That's what he does for a living. Like, he helps heal people.